Join us on a gripping journey into the minds of two of America's most notorious killers, Wade Wilson, the Deadpool killer, and Ted Bundy, the infamous serial murderer. Discover how their early lives shaped their twisted paths, the chilling similarities in their crimes, and the psychological profiles that baffled experts. Unravel the societal impacts of their actions and explore how their cases forever changed law enforcement. Stay tuned for an unforgettable exploration of evil.
Wade Wilson and Ted Bundy, despite the decades that separate them, share some intriguing similarities in their early lives that may have contributed to their later actions. Wade Wilson, known as the Deadpool killer, grew up in a turbulent environment in Tallahassee, Florida. Raised in a household where domestic violence was present, he exhibited early signs of aggression and antisocial behavior. From a young age, Wilson was known to be involved in fights at school and showed little remorse for his actions. His fascination with violence and a lack of positive role models set the stage for his future crimes. In contrast, Ted Bundy was born in Burlington, Vermont, and raised in Tacoma, Washington. Bundy's early life was marked by deception. He believed his grandparents were his parents and his mother was his sister. This family secret contributed to his feelings of alienation and resentment. Unlike Wilson, Bundy was seen as charming and intelligent, often masking his darker impulses. He excelled in academics but struggled with feelings of inadequacy and anger which simmered beneath his charismatic exterior. Both Wilson and Bundy showed early signs of psychological disturbances. Wilson's aggression and Bundy's manipulative tendencies foreshadowed their later crimes. Interestingly, both displayed a fascination with violent media which may have desensitized them to real-world violence. Bundy's obsession with detective magazines that depicted violent crimes, and Wilson's penchant for violent video games and movies, reveal a shared interest in brutality. Despite different upbringings, both killers exhibited a lack of empathy and remorse, critical traits in understanding their criminal behavior. Their early life experiences highlight the complex interplay of nature and nurture in shaping violent tendencies. These parallels in their backgrounds suggest that a combination of environmental influences and psychological predispositions may have played a role in their development as killers. While Bundy used his charm to lure victims, Wilson's approach was more direct and brutal, reflecting their different psychological makeups. However, both showed an ability to hide their true natures from those around them, which allowed them to evade capture for a time. Their early lives set the stage for their later crimes, providing crucial insights into how such individuals develop into serial offenders. Wade Wilson's crime spree began on October 7, 2019, in Cape Coral, Florida, where he brutally murdered two women, Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, in a single day. Wilson's attacks were characterized by their impulsive nature and sheer brutality. He strangled Melton in her home and then stole her car. Later that day, he ran over Ruiz multiple times with the stolen vehicle, leaving her body severely mutilated. In comparison, Ted Bundy's crimes were more calculated and methodical. Bundy was active primarily in the 1970s and was known for his ability to blend into his surroundings and use his charm to lure victims. One of his infamous crimes involved luring a young woman from a crowded beach in broad daylight by pretending to be injured and needing help. He often approached his victims with a fake injury or disability, exploiting their empathy to gain their trust before attacking them. Both killers targeted women, but their methods reflected different psychological profiles. Wilson's crimes were spontaneous and fueled by rage, while Bundy's were premeditated and manipulative. Despite these differences, both killers demonstrated a complete disregard for human life and an ability to evade detection initially. The murder of Diane Ruiz by Wade Wilson bears some similarity to Ted Bundy's abduction of Georgianne Hawkins. Both victims were young women going about their daily routines when they were suddenly attacked. Hawkins was abducted while walking through an alleyway near her college dormitory. Bundy later confessed to hitting her on the head and taking her to a secluded location, where he killed her. Similarly, Ruiz was targeted as she walked to work, routine task that turned deadly due to Wilson's violent impulses. Forensic evidence played a crucial role in linking Wilson to his crimes, much like it did in Bundy's case. Advances in DNA technology and surveillance footage were instrumental in identifying Wilson as the perpetrator, while Bundy's eventual capture was aided by eyewitness accounts and his own mistakes, such as leaving behind a distinctive bite mark on a victim. Understanding the psychological makeup of Wade Wilson and Ted Bundy provides insights into their motivations and behaviors. Wade Wilson exhibited traits consistent with antisocial personality disorder, including a lack of empathy, impulsivity, and aggression. His history of domestic violence and early exposure to a chaotic home environment likely contributed to his violent tendencies. Wilson's use of violence as a means of exerting control and instilling fear suggests deep-seated issues with power and dominance. His tattoos, including swastikas and symbols of aggression, point to a desire to project a menacing image. During his trial, his demeanor was described as indifferent, yet beneath the surface, he likely experienced significant anxiety and stress, as indicated by his body language. Ted Bundy, on the other hand, is often cited as a textbook case of psychopathy. He exhibited a charming and manipulative exterior that concealed his complete lack of empathy and remorse. Bundy's intelligence and charisma allowed him to deceive those around him, making him a particularly dangerous predator. He derived pleasure from manipulating his victims and the attention he received from the media. Both Wilson and Bundy demonstrated an ability to compartmentalize their violent actions, showing little to no emotional response to their crimes. This detachment is a hallmark of their psychological disorders, allowing them to act without guilt or fear of consequences. The psychological analysis of both killers reveals a complex interplay of innate traits and environmental factors. While Bundy's crimes were driven by a need for power and control, Wilson's actions were more impulsive and chaotic, reflecting different manifestations of similar psychological issues. Understanding their psychological profiles helps law enforcement and mental health professionals develop strategies for identifying and managing individuals with similar traits. This knowledge is crucial for preventing future crimes and providing effective intervention for those at risk of following a similar path. The crimes of Wade Wilson and Ted Bundy had profound impacts on society and law enforcement practices. Wilson's case, occurring in the digital age, highlighted the importance of surveillance technology and forensic advancements in solving violent crimes. The use of DNA evidence and security footage was pivotal in his conviction, underscoring the need for modern investigative techniques. In contrast, Bundy's crimes in the 1970s challenged law enforcement to develop new methods for tracking and apprehending serial killers. His ability to evade capture for years led to the development of criminal profiling and the creation of national databases to track serial offenders. Both cases raised awareness about the importance of recognizing early warning signs of violent behavior. Wilson's case emphasized the need for better mental health interventions and monitoring of individuals with known violent tendencies. It also sparked discussions about the role of medications, such as SSRIs, in influencing behavior. Bundy's trial was a media spectacle that changed the way the public perceived serial killers. His charm and intelligence captivated audiences, highlighting the need for media responsibility in covering such cases. The public fascination with Bundy's trial set a precedent for how high-profile criminal cases are reported and consumed. The societal impact of these cases extends to the victims' families and communities. Both cases left lasting scars, prompting efforts to support survivors and prevent future tragedies. Community outreach programs and victim advocacy became integral parts of the response to such crimes. In the wake of Wilson's and Bundy's actions, law enforcement agencies have placed greater emphasis on collaboration and information sharing. The establishment of task forces and specialized units dedicated to handling serial crimes reflects the lessons learned from these notorious cases. Ultimately, the legacy of Wade Wilson and Ted Bundy lies in the changes they prompted in both societal awareness and law enforcement practices. Their stories serve as cautionary tales and reminders of the importance of vigilance, understanding, and proactive measures in the fight against violent crime.